What is going on, guys, and welcome to an extra bonus episode of the Fantasy Stand. Actually, in right now, was able to record a live draft. This was just a free one that essentially I was a part of last year that ended up renewing. So now, guys, we'll see how we end up doing. And we have the 8th pick, so we have had some practice in this spot. We'll see who falls to us. From this ADP, we have a shot at Amon-Ra St. Brown. That would be amazing. We, of course, will see if he can fall to us. First pick, of course, Christian McCaffrey. I will say, too, guys, I have been going A.J. Brown over Justin Jefferson, but this is actually a conundrum where I may go Justin Jefferson purely with the fact that he is the only dog on his team. There is no one really else. Like Aaron Jones, kind of old and busted. You know, he is the playmaker. He's the one that they want to get essentially the ball into his hands. So I feel they paid him a lot of money purely to keep him happy because he knows there isn't going to be a lot of winning. However, there may be a lot of essentially just fantasy peppered points. Bijan there in the 5th, Tyreek Hill before him, Breece Hall there at 3rd, CeeDee Lamb. Jamar Chase goes right there in the 6th. Wow, someone isn't afraid. Oh, there goes Amon-Ra St. Brown in front of us. So this one here, guys, I think I'm going to take the chance and just have Justin Jefferson, arguably the best fantasy football player on the field. No, he's going to get peppered with targets. Man, this one, he's going to get peppered with targets. I'll take a chance on him. And you know what? This is purely with the fact that in my other leagues, I have taken A.J. Brown there. So I have a lot of shares of A.J. Brown. This will be the one share that I don't have of A.J. Brown. I still have, I don't know if it's embarrassing to say, but 3 other leagues I will be drafting in tomorrow. Will I be taking Justin Jefferson there? Probably not. This one purely was the fact that we did lose out on Amon-Ra St. Brown, which was a bummer. He was right there. Got taken right in front of us. But we purely went with the best player on an NFL football team, regardless of who is throwing it to him. A.J. Brown was the wide receiver that goes after us, who normally would have been our pick. Garrett Wilson after that. Man, would love to see Garrett Wilson actually have his year. I unfortunately was part of the bunch that had shares of him last year when he was tied to the injured Aaron Rodgers. We'll, of course, see. I don't know. We'll see if a wide receiver who now has Sam Darnold and Nick Mullins throwing to him will be any better. But I'll take Jefferson. Wide receiver, what? Plays, they play in a dome over there in Minnesota, I believe. I'll take that. After Garrett Wilson was Puka Nacua, Derrick Henry, and Jahmyr Gibbs essentially went at the back end. Two picks till us. This pick has normally been Isaiah Pacheco. We luckily, looking at these leagues, this league setting, we only have two wide receivers to fill out versus our normal three wide receiver set. So this may allow us to essentially spend up and go up in either the tight end position or the quarterback position, depending on who is available there. Our turn is next. We do have Isaiah Pacheco queued to be our running back champion over Kyron Williams. Derrick Henry's not there. Saquon Barkley was there, but then obviously was taken just there 2 picks ago, or just this pick before this one. This guy's actually going to time out, and he times out for Marvin Harrison Jr. That's okay. We'll take our running back champion in Isaiah Pacheco. Honestly, Pacheco is the one that we have, I think, the most shares of in a lot of our leagues. In my 14-team keeper league, that is essentially the only league I don't have a share of Pacheco, purely with the fact because the guy decided to keep him on his team from last year. So couldn't blame him. On that roster, I actually have Kyron Williams. It only cost me a 7th round pick, so I was very happy with that. Obviously, the news came out afterwards that he would be essentially, the punt returner, and it spooked a lot of people. So I've personally loved Pacheco. And since I knew I already have my share of Kyron Williams, that's why Pacheco has been the one who has been climbing on my board. Would love to also be able to get, say, double tap and get someone like a Devon Achane with him as well. I think we're a little bit too later in the draft where obviously, look, he goes right there at that previous pick to Skaten Super Team. Chris Olave right after. I'm going to go ahead and queue up some guys who I would love to have on my team. Would love to have Travis Kelce. Actually, in that 14 team, I have a little bit of Sam Laporta, so I am excited about that. Josh Jacobs goes right there in the 23rd. I was actually about to queue him up just in case. Really haven't been on Josh Jacobs, positive production for this year, but the fact that Marshawn Lloyd is injured, A.J. Dillon on IR, with that injury, he just seems to be like the guy that just left pure volume-wise. He's going to go ahead and just get his touches. Steve Holt here, double tapped Drake London and Cooper Kupp. Josh Allen goes right after. Great start, I feel, for Holt. Got to see who he ended up going with. The first one, Travis Kelce right there. We do miss out on him. We are a few picks away. Just queuing up some guys who more than likely will not fall to us. I feel like I may have to go ahead and just take a shot on Malik Neighbors because I don't want to miss out on him. And this one is tough. Man, but to have like Justin Jefferson and Malik Neighbors, the main problem with that is the fact that the quarterback throwing to him is the one with the most questions. That's actually who I'm going to go ahead. I'll take Malik Neighbors in the 3rd. Sam Laporta is there, does have that Q tagged. I mean, obviously he could, just take that next step here. Joe Mixon goes. Patrick Mahomes goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just look how tight that is, and I just feel that a lot of people will probably We're going with the guys we want. I'm going Malik Neighbors right there. I don't want to risk him not being on our squad. what that means, though... Oh, man, may have to spend up on Rashee Rice. That's tough. Brandon Ayuk right there. More than likely they're going to go, but still just queuing up guys on my squad. Jalen Waddle pick right after us. So obviously our main focus too, we need to make sure we get is a quality RB2. This is where Zamir White is on our list. Should we obviously miss out on just any other of the running backs we essentially queued up? Didn't queue up a lot of them, but we still have guys like James Cook, Kenneth Walker, maybe Alvin Kamara. Really hoping for Raheem Mostert and Zamir White. Those are the two I'm hoping, and I feel could really anchor that quarterback room, quarterback team. Sam Laporta goes right there. Devontae Smith before him, so we do miss out on at least that kind of top quality tight end. That's perfectly fine. Dalton Kincaid is essentially who I am hoping to target and get. The thing is, Trey McBride is also very interesting as well. DJ Moore goes right there. We actually are 2 picks away from us. Oh, man, this one could be interesting. We could get our top quarterback here. Oh, Jalen Hurts goes right there. Lamar Jackson could be in the cards for us. James Cook goes because, yeah, James Cook was the other guy that we were thinking about. Kenneth Walker is available. Trey McBride, Rashee Rice. Man, this one is actually going to be a little tough. I think I kind of want to go DK for the third. I mean, we do have 2 flex spots to fill out. Man. I'm going Lamar. Oh, who do I have queued? It was Lamar Jackson. We went Lamar. Man, that one I feel bad a little bit because I did feel we tilted, but we do have the MVP on our squad. DK Metcalf, Rashid White after that. Now the main thing is to literally fill out the rest of these guys with the best value we can find. Coming down here, hoping for Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, George Pickens in consideration, Raheem Mostert, Dalton Kincaid, Zamir White. This one I feel may have to possibly go, man. Rashee Rice right there. Gonna have some bye weeks. Michael Pittman. Don't care necessarily for him. Kenneth Walker right there. 9 picks till us. Since we did choose up on our quarterback, could wait on the tight end. My only fear is I felt like I kind of waited a little bit in one league and literally had to settle. I don't know if I want to necessarily do that. So I want to make sure that I at least walk away with either Jake Ferguson or George Kittle. Those one of those two. Dalton Kincaid, would love to have Dalton Kincaid. However, it's just, man, you really would have to pick him up here. There's just some other guys that I kind of like or that would essentially have to take. Alvin Kamara goes. See, Zamir White is down there. Seven picks to us. Aaron Jones goes. See, the one thing that stinks about if we do go a tight end here is I feel you miss out on the value of a Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, George Pickens. And essentially I'm waiting. But even then, too, you still have guys like Calvin Ridley, Zamir White, who I would have to take here in the next round. You know, should I really want him? And we do have a lot of Zamir White shares. That is one person that I am definitely trying to leave this roster with, especially with the fact that he is the one that has the best chance of getting that third down or locking down that 3-down roll. Three picks still to us. Just curious who they have up here. Two picks to us. Amari Cooper goes there. James Conner before. Mark Andrews, which leads George Kittle, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, George Pickens, Dalton Kincaid. Man. We already have our wide receiver. We miss on the running back. Going Dalton Kincaid. Right here in the fifth. We make sure we don't lose out essentially on that top quality tight end. Because after that, yeah, it's just like Kyle Pitts available. I even think George Kittle went before it. Yeah, Mark Andrews, George Kittle went right there. I feel like we had to go ahead and take our tight end. Just looking at the roster, though, we have our quarterback, we have our tight end, top guys in their position. Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, Isaiah Pacheco as our running back. Now, we are going to have to start smashing running back here, which does suck, but there are a lot of wide receivers later on that we can still get lucky on. You know, especially some of those rookies like Brian Thomas Jr., who does have a role, Keon Coleman, who is also going to have another role. Looking here, would love, man, if I had the choice between Zamir White, Calvin Ridley, Raheem Mostert, this is where I would definitely go Zamir White, purely with the fact that he does have the best chance at that 3-down roll. Stephon Diggs goes right there. 5 picks until us. Yeah, it's just the fact that our next pick isn't until down here. And I mean, we can what? Maybe hope that our RB2 is Tony Pollard or Brian Robinson Jr. I'd much rather have them as our RB3 or in a flex position. But even then, too, like looking down here, there's going to be guys like Brian Thomas Jr. who we may have to get to make sure that we get him, or essentially Xavier Worthy. Kyle Pitts goes right there. Tight end run, a little bit of a tight end run kind of went to where Jake Ferguson really and Evan Ingram are the only two tight ends, I believe, right now. Raheem Mostert goes right there. 3 picks before us. He, of course, was in consideration. The 3 right now that we're hoping, David Montgomery goes right there. So we're going to get 2 out of the 3 we're hoping. And honestly, it's either George Pickens, who is in that quarterback situation. Could go Zay Flowers. Wouldn't be a bad thing. We do have Lamar Jackson. He could be the thing. Calvin Ridley, another exciting receiver. Zamir White, Chris Godwin. There, I can't miss out on Zamir White. I can't take that chance. That was our pick there in the 6th round. Essentially, we've been saying Zamir White all offseason in the 5th. We got him there in the 6th. So I'll go ahead and take that. We don't have him as our RB1. He is our RB2. Immediately after us, though, George Pickens goes. Zay Flowers after that. We're 12 picks until our next selection. And honestly, hoping right here can maybe go ahead get another running back in either Brian Robinson Jr. or Tony Pollard if one of them are available. And essentially wait and hope that if Brian Thomas Jr. doesn't fall to us, maybe Xavier Worthy can. Just looking here, though, there are some other running backs who are going to have some roles. And it's a good thing. Joe Burrow right there. 11 picks until us. Dak Prescott goes. Really surprised not Kyler Murray. Jake Ferguson goes right there. Pretty much the last of the tight ends. Jayden Reed, man, it's just hard for me to pull that trigger on him. Javonte Williams right there. Kyler Murray right there at 72. This guy's going to double tap his selection. Seven picks still into us would be a miracle. Yeah, of course, I was actually just going to say it would be a miracle if Calvin Ridley fell to us. He actually goes right there to Holtz, who did double tap that position. Right here, I feel like we have to go ahead and, at least with us being a little light on running back, I mean, some people would have the question marks with Zamir White, even Isaiah Pacheco possibly. I think is where we can go ahead and get a quality running back in Brian Robinson Jr. Christian Kirk actually goes right there. Deontay Johnson goes. 4 picks until us. Chris Godwin goes right there. He was actually in consideration. It's going to be interesting to see where I should go. Najee Harris goes right there. Jaden Daniels actually goes right there. DeAndre Swift goes right there, who is also in consideration as well. So right now, it's either between Tony Pollard or Brian Robinson Jr. I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to take the touchdowns in Brian Robinson Jr. in that offense. Austin Eckler, of course, will have a PPR value, but Brian Robinson Jr. is going to go ahead and get those touchdowns. He is our third running back. He's our safe running back, essentially over Tony Pollard, who could be over his injury. I would possibly take a chance. I think there's one league where I do have Tony Pollard because Brian Robinson Jr. was already taken, and I needed that third running back. Tony Pollard was still there. Ended up deciding to go ahead and get him. Here, as well as I'm looking at these next picks, Brian Thomas Jr. would be awesome. Xavier Worthy is honestly on my radar right here. Exciting rookie, could get those long, just bombs, essentially. He is on my radar. I have Rashee Rice shares, and I have a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. shares. I don't have a lot of Xavier Worthy shares, and this is a share that I would possibly take a chance at maybe getting him. Gonna queue up a couple guys though, just in case. Rome Odunze did go there. Evan Ingram before him, right after our Brian Robinson Jr. pick. So as I'm looking to essentially fill this out, Jordan Love goes right there. Great value for that guy who goes ahead and waits. Tony Pollard after that. Boss Hammers actually gets 2 picks, so we'll see which route he goes right here. Trevor Lawrence actually goes right there. That's interesting. Tony Pollard before that. These quarterbacks are just starting to go. We are 3 picks away from us, and right now I do have Xavier Worthy queued up. Jalen Warren actually goes right there. Jaden Reed, though, is still there. Man, that would be... purely just to take a shot and chance. However, there is the 4-headed monster there, so that's the thing. It's like, would you rather want 3 or 4 long bombs from Xavier Worthy or Jaden Reed? Yeah, Devin Singletary goes right there. So, we essentially have our shot. Man, Jaden Reed, that's interesting. Because to me, I do have Xavier Worthy queued up. And at least I know he's the 2. Jaden Reed, 2, 1, 3. Man. This is tough. I think I'm going to go Xavier Worthy. And I chose him over Jaden Reed. Which will, of course, that will probably go back to bite us. But love the excitement of Xavier Worthy. Tajee Spears actually goes behind or after that. Jackson Smith and Jigba. So look at that. We don't feel too bad, with other guys skipping over Jaden Reed as well. Someone's not. Someone's going to be very happy. Queue up some guys. Chase Brown, ones who could provide just some value. Jerome Ford right here is kind of the one leading the board to us. Chase Brown, possibly. I mean, it's 11 picks. We'll see who falls to us. Chase Brown actually goes right there at pick 93. Jerome Ford would be my pick. Austin Eckler actually goes. Get some of that PPR value. I wonder if H Doggies actually has Jaden Reed. H Doggies. Yeah, let's look at H Doggies. H Doggies, CJ Stroud, Chris Olave, Nico Collins, Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, Jake Ferguson, Austin Eckler. No, he just has Austin Eckler as his PPR. Okay. 504 actually. Tyreek, H.N., and Travis Kelce. Richardson. 5 picks left till us. After Austin Eckler was Jonathan Brooks. Jaden Reed finally goes. David Njoku, Zach Moss. San Francisco, first defense off the board. Khalil Shakir at number 100. Two picks till us. Jerome Ford actually goes there. That is a bummer. Cortland Sutton available. Keenan Allen available. I'm actually going to go ahead and take Keon Coleman, who has been on my radar. Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards, Brock Purdy. Even though Keenan Allen is there, Cortland Sutton, Caleb Williams, there really isn't anyone else other than Keon Coleman. And Khalil Shakir went at 100. 4 picks later, we're going to go ahead and take Keon Coleman. Jerome Ford would have been my pick there, and then I would have played the ADP game to see if Coleman could have fell to us at the next round here in round 10. But, hey, guys, everything got pushed. You know, all offseason I've been saying Zamir White in the 5th, Keon Coleman in the 8th. Essentially, I got Zamir White in the 6th and Keon Coleman in the 9th. So everything did get pushed back a little bit, which was nice. It allowed me to essentially spin up, get, Lamar Jackson, get Dalton Kincaid, some of those top onesie positions. So this build is pretty happy, I'm pretty happy with this build as I can be. Like I said, would love maybe another top running back. That's the thing. We're going to see which running backs will still be there. May just have to fill our roster right now with Trey Benson, who eventually will take over in that role. Blake Corum, what is the role that he has, right now that Kyron Williams is essentially going to be taking on, the punt returning duties. So Corum is a very interesting pick. Rico Dowdle is also someone that I would essentially take a shot on and see. Keenan Allen goes. Well, after we took Keon Coleman, Cortland Sutton goes, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, and then Hollywood Brown. Bosshammer is actually about to take another guy right here. We'll see, of course, who he decides to go with. I honestly may spend up on Rico Dowdle. I missed out on him on a few of my other drafts. I have Trey Benson in one. Don't have any Blake Corum. And he goes Boss Hammer goes Tyler Lockett right there. So I think if there's a running back I'm going to take a shot on, obviously Chuba Hubbard does have starting capabilities as well, especially for the first 4 games. And heck, even for the first 6 weeks could be more value, possibly even longer to week 8, as Jonathan Brooks does acclimate and come back from that injury. So Chuba Hubbard to me is someone that I think in one of my drafts I took him because I wanted someone with that starting upside, hoping that Dowdle would have fell to me in that later round. Dowdle actually ends up going, I think, the pick kind of right before me, so ended up missing out on that, which I was pretty bummed about. So Dowdle is a guy that if he hits, you have to listen to the coach speak, coach talk. I believe Mike McCarthy talked about just the stuff that he can do. He has the size, I believe, 6 foot running back, so durability wise can possibly, handle obviously that stressful workload. So I am hoping Dowdle falls to us maybe here in these next 2 picks. We have a shot. And then essentially when we come back, see if maybe we can grab either Trey Benson, Blake Corum. Blake Corum actually goes right there, so no. But either, Trey Benson or Chuba Hubbard. Maybe Chuba Hubbard can possibly make his way back to us. But other than that, running back wise, there's no one that really stands out. J.K. Dobbins possibly could have that role, or, so, man. I mean, if he's splitting it with Gus Edwards, Jalen Polk is someone we are also targeting. Ooh, in this one with the double flex, obviously one of them only has the tight end. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so we ended up going Rico Dowdle there. I don't know how that happened so quick. I guess maybe it was our turn and I just slept on that. But Dalton Schultz right after, Trey Benson after that. Man. So at least we got Dowdle there. I'm happy about it. I hope he can turn into something special. He has that chance to. With us being 12 picks away, essentially hoping Chuba Hubbard could fall to us. Just to be able to get another quality running back. I mean, he would be our 5th essentially. Wide receiver wise, we already have 4. So yeah, I mean, whichever route or way we decide to go, we're just filling out our depth from here. Joshua Palmer has wide receiver, is the wide receiver 1, I believe, over there, even though Ladd McConkey did go. Jameson Williams could bounce back. Nick Chubb actually goes there. Jameson Williams before that. 6 picks away into our next selection. And right now, we honestly may have our choice between a wide receiver, another wide receiver that we like, in either Joshua Palmer, Romeo Doubs. Could go Zeke Elliott, just being somewhat the last running backs available. Jaleel McLaughlin obviously could be there. We do have J.K. Dobbins also selected. Joshua Palmer actually goes right there, so we do miss out on him. Curtis Samuel as well. Ooh, this one's getting tough. It's going down to the last 4 picks. Actually may need to get a quarterback, a backup quarterback as well. And the 2 I like really are Caleb Williams and Jared Goff. I love the fact that Jared Goff will be playing indoors in a dome. And I love Amon-Ra St. Brown this year. Love that offense. Especially love Sam Laporta as well. I always say it. You gotta love the guy who is throwing the ball to him too. He doesn't have that rushing upside. That's what's going to hinder him. But he is still going to be on a high-powered offense. The other quarterback is Caleb Williams, of course, who does have that rushing upside, who could be great. And so really it's here, like as we start going down, Kirk Cousins actually goes there over Caleb Williams and Jared Goff. But they just think, Kirk Cousins is going to just chuck that football. With us being here and the fact that we have Lamar Jackson, who has a Week 14 bye, we're more than likely not going to be possibly starting, one of those other guys. It would be more of a safety blanket to have Caleb Williams or Jared Goff on our squad. It's our turn to draft. Honestly, Romeo Doubs right here is kind of my pick. Ezekiel Elliott is available there as well. However, I just feel like Dobbs may give us a little bit more value. Now, he is possibly the third option there, possibly the fourth, possibly the second, possibly the one. Do not know. But he is tied to a high-powered offense. This is why I kind of hesitated picking Jaden Reed a little bit earlier, is because I knew the fact that another guy who possibly could shine, have that upside as well, he is going later on in the rounds, and that's someone that if I wanted to fill out my roster, I could go ahead and take him and get a piece of that offense. So, going to go ahead and take Dobbs right there. We do have 3 more bench spots as I'm looking for this roster. Would love it if we could, maybe get a backup tight end and backup quarterback. And would love if one of those quarterbacks could be Caleb Williams or Jared Goff. Caleb Williams actually goes right there. So with it being 6 picks left, don't really know if we will get a shot at Jared Goff. Tua is available there as well. I do have Ezekiel Elliott queued up though. And also Jaleel McLaughlin, kind of with the only running backs left. J.K. Dobbins actually could be sneaky. And I'm just looking at some of these other, Jaleel McLaughlin actually goes right there. Jared Goff goes right there. So we miss out on 2 of those quarterbacks that we were hoping. That's somewhat okay. We are 3 picks away. And you know what? This one's actually going to be tough because I feel like we may have a decision to make between do we want Ezekiel Elliott or do we want J.K. Dobbins essentially as that running back. And my argument with Zeke is the fact that I know at most he is only going to give us maybe 30 yards, but he will get us 1 to 2 touchdowns. And so it's like, do you want essentially that as your value, or would you much rather take a shot on J.K. Dobbins, who is coming back from a significant injury, cannot stay healthy for the life of him? I mean, this dude has just been injured his entire career. Zach Charbonnet goes. TJ Hawkinson right there. So we do have our choice between Ezekiel Elliott and essentially J.K. Dobbins. If there was another wide receiver we were looking for, Jalen Polk, of course, right there. You know what? This one really is tough. I'm actually going to go with, man, I hate to say Zeke, but the fact that we do have Dowdle, it's going to be one of them. And if I'm later in the year, if I have to decide, which one to choose, or heck, maybe I figure out which one, is the star back. We can drop, say Zeke for someone else, should we really need. But the fact is, the running backs left available, Zeke was in consideration. J.K. Dobbins is still in consideration. We are 12 picks away. And the only problem is, of course, Jalen Polk is there as well. He's another rookie wide receiver that I really like. Let me see. What's this Noah Fan use? It's present for warm-ups. Man, who's going to be the tight end there? Cole Kmet right there, 141. Taysom Hill, 140. So a lot of these somewhat, especially like Taysom Hill, who people were calling as a cheat code, he was hoping he would have been able to fall to us. So that does mean we do have a shot at someone like J.K. Dobbins. It's not exciting. We have our wide receivers kind of short up that position. I feel running back really is the only question mark. Jalen Polk, though. Tyler Algier. So yeah, guys, we are 5 picks away and essentially coming up towards the end of the draft, where we do have 2 bench spots to fill out, and then of course our defense and kicker position, which will always be our last picks and selection. Adonai Mitchell goes. So at pick 13, we do have a shot here at possibly taking J.K. Dobbins. The only problem is there's another guy or another wide receiver, possibly in Jalen Polk, who could be good there. Man, that is a tough offense. J.K. Dobbins actually goes right there. I was actually swinging a little bit more towards J.K. with the fact that I feel running backs would probably be the highest kind of commodity in a league like this, where the wide receivers we'll be able to pick some up off waiver wires. I mean, looking here, Jordan Mason goes right there, but Dontavian Wicks, third, fourth wide receiver there. Honestly, if we were really wanted to question if Romeo Doubs was the guy or if Wicks is the one that would take over, I feel like Jalen Polk is the exciting young rookie. I mean, there's Adam Thielen, there's Rashad Bateman down here as well that could provide, some value. That's just tough to say. I'll take a shot on Jalen Polk. The offense isn't the best there in New England. I mean, heck, I'm kind of considering, since we wait on these positions, we're going to choose a defense that we're essentially going to drop and pick up a new one every week. Cincinnati plays New England week 1. Cincinnati is like one of the highest rated defenses this week. So not a lot of faith in that New England offense. That right there will be the thing that will hinder, obviously, Polk's just stats and production. Dontavian Wicks does go actually after us. Jalen Wright after that. Miami running back. That third stringer, where if you have Raheem Mostert, he would be, or Achane. Jalen Wright would definitely be in consideration to get just to back up. Both those guys are injury prone. Anything could happen. And Jalen Wright, they just drafted him. He's got the speed that the Dolphins like out of any of their playmakers. So he is someone that definitely could be special should he be unleashed. We are actually only one more pick away, or not one more pick away, but one more bench pick left in this draft for us. Kind of looking at Adam Thielen, kind of looking at Rashad Bateman. Darnell Mooney also provides some upside. Pop Douglas DeMario. Look, Adam Thielen actually goes right there by Boss Hammer. He knows Thielen will put up some games. Ty Chandler after that. So honestly, we could have a shot. I'm just trying to think. Jalen McMillan also available. Braylon Allen. Cleveland goes. May go Rashad Bateman. Running back wise, just looking here, Antonio Gibson still available. Marshawn Lloyd just can't stay healthy. Tight ends, Henry, Benson, Theo. To repair of injury-plagued season, starts career. I think we're going to go Bateman. Quarterback-wise, Herbert, Staff. Went Bateman there. He was, of course, the one that we had queued up over Darnell Mooney, over Jalen McMillan. Thought about last minute, possibly about maybe just picking up an extra quarterback. We do have Lamar Jackson, though, so this purely would just be someone who would sit, especially here with someone who doesn't have the upside of a Jaden Daniels or a Caleb Williams. You have Justin Herbert, who's possibly going to be limited by that run-heavy offense. Of course, too, I think also had somewhat, was it a hand injury or something that he was dealing with? I don't know. I thought he's dealing with something. Don't go on that. But just looking here at these other quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford, not starting him over Lamar Jackson. Baker Mayfield, no. Geno Smith. Really the only one that possibly has somewhat of an upside. And question mark is Will Levis. Is that really going to be a pass-heavy offense? Do I really want to have the face of my team, someone who drinks mayo with their coffee, a heavy amount of mayo with their coffee? But yeah, guys, this was. I'm glad we were able to come in here and actually get video of, say, this live draft that I will be managing on Yahoo. Going over the quarterbacks, just because we are down essentially to our last two picks. And those last two picks will be, of course, a defense and a kicker. Guys that you will most likely be adding and dropping every single week just based on matchups. Everyone's going to have different matchups. So even those top quality defenses, yes, they're going to, explode, have those big games, but they are going to, go against Kansas City, go against Baltimore, go against, these high-powered offenses that really could have you tilt, to another team. So we're down to our last two, but just want to cover this team right now that we were able to get. This was a 2 wide receiver set, so we did go ahead and just get our 1 wide receiver champion. This one, guys, kind of a wild card, and we have 0 Justin Jefferson shares, essentially, in any other best ball drafts we've done and any of our home drafts one, except for this one right here that we just did live. A.J. Brown was still available. That was mostly the guy that we have been taking. In some of my other drafts, I actually have a lot of A.J. Brown shares. So this one wanted to kind of do a little bit different, try and get maybe a couple of the different guys that I haven't been able to get on my rosters who I have been targeting. For example, Dalton Kincaid had been one, Brian Robinson Jr., Xavier Worthy, a lot of these guys. Heck, in one league, Zamir White, was taken. Same with Keon Coleman. So just being able to come in here and, get some of these drafts going. Really love, just the practice. Just love drafting in general. Let me actually go ahead real quick. I'll just queue up whatever defenses, and Houston is interesting to me. They do start off the year against Indianapolis. However, Anthony Richardson really hasn't been looking too hot during the regular season. Yes, he does have that rushing upside. You hope that Houston, with their head coach there, being that ex defensive linebacker, should be able to find a way to stop him. That is why I essentially have Houston kind of queued up a little high. They also too play in a dome as well, so that is something at least that I'm excited about. For those home games, you don't have to necessarily just worry about weather being a factor. So Houston is up here in consideration. Philadelphia, I don't really know who they play. I hate too how you bring up like the game login. I mean, I like how they bring that, but they don't bring up the schedule like they do when you can view them as just a regular player. What up, Koo? We are Khalil Herbert goes. Just a lot of people picking up some depth, bench spots or depth pieces, and of course their kicker and defense. Miami could be an interesting defense as well. Darnell Mooney goes right there. Wide receiver 2, Philadelphia. Gonna go ahead. Actually, really? And they were 174. They were one of the highest. 12 fumble recoveries. I like Will Anderson. Let's go Houston. I'll go you right there. Justin Herbert right after that. Essentially down to our last pick. Go to the kickers. Just queue up. Oh. Could stay indoors at Fairbarn. Fairbarn? Evan McPherson, really? He's rated that high? Well, Evan McPherson goes right there anyway, so miss out on him. Just queue up these 3 kickers. Bass, of course. I don't know if we really went 16th in fantasy last season. I know it's just a kicker. Like I said, most of these guys are going to add and drop pretty much every time. But then also too, try to figure out, who is essentially going to move the ball and may just not have a lot of those scoring opportunities. Right now, Cameron Dicker kind of stands out the most. This kid is on an offense that is more run heavy, may not be as pass heavy. So, yeah, it's either do I want him and hope that they can at least just move the ball across midfield, or go someone like Greg Zerloin, or who at least has an offense that will move the ball. It's just, man, that one's kind of tough. Well, if you need a kicker, that's what they say. Grab Cameron Dicker. We'll go with him, filling out our roster. And all right, guys, this is going to be the last few picks. Really appreciate you following along. Glad we were able to get this one essentially going. I'll recap this real quick, and hopefully we have a good season. I feel like we got some good guys, got some good starters. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna like some other guys. Everyone has their favorites, but our quarterback in this, I believe it's a 12-teamer. I'm pretty sure it's a 12-teamer. Lamar Jackson as our quarterback. Justin Jefferson and Malik Neighbors as our wide receivers. Isaiah Pacheco, Zamir White as our running backs, with Dalton Kincaid as our tight end. This one has kind of two flex spots. Brian Robinson Jr. and Xavier Worthy to fill those out. As the bench goes as well, Keon Coleman, Rico Dowdle, Romeo Dobbs, Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, you know what? Guess what, guys? We're going to have the starting Dallas Cowboys running back on our squad. We just have to figure out which one. Jalen Polk after that, and Rashad Bateman, if anything, as our last wide receiver, and also two to possibly stack with Lamar Jackson, should they have that strong rapport, and Rashad Bateman does end up coming back and having that better career or that bounce back that the coaches have been talking about. Defense and kicker, Houston defense, Cameron Dicker as the kicker, and that, of course, will round out our squad. Now, remember, guys, you don't win your league at the draft. You do, however, build your foundation. So, I think we have some good key pieces in here. Obviously, as the year goes on, we're going to be adding guys off the wire, dropping guys who we were hoping would have been the standout guys on our squad. But this is fantasy football, guys. This was a live draft. You got to see the ADP essentially of who was falling. And there we go. We'll come back. Just take a quick snapshot at our team. And like I said, guys, one quick rundown one more time. Lamar Jackson, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, Isaiah Pacheco, Zamir White, and Dalton Kincaid as our first starters. And our two flex spots are Brian Robinson Jr. and Xavier Worthy. On our bench, Keon Coleman, Rico Dowdle, Romeo Dobbs, Zeke Elliott, Jalen Polk, Rashad Bateman. Defense, Houston and Cameron Dicker as the kicker. Really appreciate you guys following along. We will be back at it again tomorrow. This was a little bonus episode. Like I said, we were able to come in here for this live draft. So you guys take care. Hope you're able to get some good insight to see who is possibly falling, who some of these tiers are. But good luck, guys, especially if you are still drafting. Still have a few more tomorrow just because I'm, just a fan about this whole fantasy football drafting. So appreciate you guys following along, and see you again later. Bye.